Bowling with the Fef.
Bowling with the Fef.
Are you ready?
Ready. Your bowling stories.
They found you.
They did.
Fef's all over.
Every week.
Bowling has picked back up again.
Live.
UW Whitewater.
There it is.
Why the fedora? Do I look good in it?
I think you look great in it.
I want to challenge Skylar Pence.
Mike Hatton.
Let's do this.
Roll 'em.
This is Bowling with the Fef.
Bowling with the Fef. This would be easier to hear me if my mic was actually going, right? Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday night, and can't wait to get into this with you. Another exciting episode of the show. And we have got a couple of great guests coming up that I can't wait to get into a little conversation with. I'm sure some of you that have been waiting for this one are excited to hear from them as well. So I will get into this so we can get to them just as soon as possible. I do want to start with a little breaking news, though, as I just found out within the hour. Big congratulations to Devin McKiskey, who announced less than an hour ago that he will attend Rock Valley College and bowl for the Golden Eagles. McKiskey is from Marshfield, Wisconsin. He bowls out of Edwin Memorial Lanes, which is a small house in Roselleville, Wisconsin. And let me tell you, he is an absolute beast on the lanes. He turned lots of heads a couple of years back, and you may remember hearing about this. He shot .843 in league at EML. He was only 15 years old at the time. Imagine that, right? Rock Valley is a community college in Rockford, Illinois. In a Facebook post announcing his commitment, McKiskey said that Coach Tony Hall had scouted him for the last couple of years, and I certainly don't blame him. Tony's a good guy. I've met him before, and certainly a big congratulations to him as well. But a great move for Devin, and excited to see what is next in his future as, like I said, just an incredible talent on the lanes. Devin McKiskey headed for Rockford, Illinois, and Rock Valley College. Congratulations to all involved. Well, a little news about the PBA star that the Alaska Sports Report calls the Last Frontier's all-time best bowler. He is going into that state's Sports Hall of Fame. Sean Rash shared the news on social media yesterday. He is a PBA and USBC Hall of Famer, and he will be inducted into the Alaska Sports Hall of Fame next year, 2026. He is an 18-time PBA champion. Most recently, he won the 2025 Lucky Larson Masters. And more recently than that, he was named the 7th greatest PBA bowler of the past 25 years by the PBA. He has been a previous guest on Bowling with the Fef, and he happens to be sponsored by Chip Magnet Salsa, who also sponsors this show. Proud to say. Hey, we had a great weekend this past weekend at the Big Ten tournament in suburban Chicago, Bolero Mount Prospect, where we saw Purdue absolutely clean up. The Boilermakers won the men's varsity competition. They won the women's championship. They won the men's JV championship. What a weekend for Purdue University. On the women's JV side, Ohio State won the first ever women's JV championship in the tournament's history. I was there live streaming the whole weekend long, and you can see that on replay at any time on the channel right here. And speaking of live streaming, why don't we go ahead and do it again? January 17th, we will bring you the Trios Baker-style bowling tournament, the St. Croix Trios, that is. I'll have the 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. qualifying shifts along with the semifinals and finals live from St. Croix Lanes in River Falls, Wisconsin. That is coming up next month. That tournament sponsored by St. Croix Pro Shop, Green Oasis, Chautauqua Lanes, and Falls Theater. You'll see it all live right here on the channel. Saturday, January 17th. 2026. Don't forget, we do have a merch shop, etsy.com/shop/bowlingwiththefefco. If you're looking for a last minute holiday gift, we've got t-shirts and hoodies ready when you are. We also have a couple more sponsors to let you know about. Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lanes in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Give him a call if you need any bowling accessories, bowling balls, bowling lessons. He can do it all. 715-559-1822. Also, Visionary Video Hub, video with impact plus live streaming, voiceover services, and podcasting. Find out more at visionaryvideohub.com. And of course, the aforementioned chip magnet salsa. This stuff is good. Let me tell you, that makes a great holiday gift too. And if you order online at chipmagnetsalsa.com, enter the promo code BWTF2025. If you order a 6-pack of jars, you get 25% off your purchase. That's a great deal, and there's no limit on it either. Or if you'd rather go the Amazon route, you can find it on Amazon too. Just search for the Chip Magnet store and stock up. Chip Magnet, raise your snack standards. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting local bowling and Bowling with the Fef. Well, several weeks ago, I stumbled upon a Facebook post on the powerful JoPo Grips Facebook page. They reach out to tens of thousands of Facebook subscribers. They said, JoPo fam, we need your help. We've already had the awesome opportunity to sit down and talk grips and the game we love on a couple different podcasts. Reset and Rise to the Unbreakable with Amanda Moore and Straight Up 5. Now we want to hear from you. Which one should we go on next? So I had to chime in because they said tag your favorite podcast, because I'm a little biased on this one, right? So they said, let us know, Fef. And I couldn't help myself. I mean, what a fantastic opportunity to have these folks on. So like I said, I took it, and here we are with the JoPo family. Now, they did send me a bunch of materials, including one piece of video that has the very familiar sound that happens when inserting one of their interchangeable thumbs into a bowling ball. Take a listen. There it was, the signature click, and they're very proud of that. So let's bring the fathers of the click on. Okay, this is Mr. JoPo, the owner, Jerry Penxa, and JP or JoPo Jr., Jerry Penxa. Welcome, guys, to Bowling with the Fef. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Fef.
Yeah. So let me ask you this first. You put out that Facebook post. You think to yourselves, what? Who are we going to attract? Are we going to get a bunch of ragtag podcasters like Pfeffer, barking at our door? What were the expectations?
I didn't know what the expectations were, to be honest, but I don't think there could have been too many better people than you yourself, Andrew. So we appreciate you obviously tagging yourself. I've watched your videos many times, so are all your podcast videos on YouTube, and I was hoping that you would potentially tag yourself in those comments. So dream come true, I guess, at the end of the day.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm glad you put it out there. I had the opportunity to listen to the others, and I really find your story fascinating, so I'm glad we were able to work this out. Did you get a bunch of other responses? I mean, are we going to hear you on others outside of this one?
I've got some here and there, but when you said it, I looked at my dad, and I was like, we got to go. We got to do this one. So I was pretty proud of that moment when you responded, or at least commented on the post. So it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's like I said, the feeling's mutual. I'm really glad to have you guys on. What inspired that? What is it about the power of, getting on a live stream or getting on a podcast that you feel really kind of connects you to either your customers, your potential customers, or just the bowling public?
I think showing face is actually probably the biggest thing. I actually got complimented on that when, and you actually already mentioned it, was when Sean Rash won in Sweden. I was there for it, and the amount of people that actually came up to me and said, "Thank you so much for obviously being here." Not too many people have the opportunity, or they don't show face as often as you have in the short amount of time that we've been live, like, or where our product's been available. So going back to that, I think, being able to show that we're human, we're not just robots. We are not just a phone call. We're not just an email or a comment on a social media post. We're real people, just like everybody else is.
Yeah, I love this picture. That is so cool.
That was a cool picture. Those are on the stairs. I walked up those stairs every day to go to the bowl, Olympic Bowl out in Sweden. It was, obviously a dream come true for Sean, but to experience that with Sean, to have him as a staff member for this year, the first time he obviously joined was this year with us, and there are no words to explain how just amazing that tournament was. They do a great job at the Lucky Larson Masters. Shout out to all the guys out there that handled that. It was the best experience I could say that has ever happened to me in the bowling world. So it was cool.
Yeah. How was it different than maybe a typical national tour event that you might see stateside? I've been to a couple, but after a couple, I would think, the casual fan would pretty much know what to expect. But watching that online, it just seemed a little different and, tough to kind of follow the scoring for someone who wasn't intimately familiar with it.
Right. And that, I think, is a big difference when it comes to it. But they treat bowlers, pro bowlers, like rock stars over there. It felt like a party the entire time. And anytime, the pros were so generous with their time too. I don't remember seeing any sight of like discomfort or anything when like a random person or like a child or any fan came up to them. It was just like, again, it was like signing an autograph from your favorite sports player ever. It was just, they were all treated that way.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And that's kind of the cool thing about bowling, right? We have the access to those big stars or at least the big stars that we see, in that light, because we see them on TV. We idolize those people, and to go to an event like that and be able to shake hands and take pictures and, maybe get an autograph or at least exchange a kind word or two is really cool. I got to ask, because again, the common denominator between Sean and I is Chip Magnet. And the way the story works, at least how I heard it, from Jim Lucas, who's the owner of Chip Magnet and one of my bowling teammates, he said that Sean said, "Hey, the JoPo guys want to try the salsa. Would you get some salsa their way?" And he agreed, and he got you the salsa. I want to know what you thought, but I also want to know which flavor or flavors you tried, because there's a difference, right? When you talk mild to hot and all that good stuff.
Right. I would, do you know?
Yeah. So, we got all the flavors in there, and I am a hot fanatic.
Really?
The hotter that it is, the better I like it. So,
Okay.
First thing I cracked open was the hot ones, and we tasted them all. But I'm telling you what, and we meant to put another order in, because we probably went through all the jars that they gave us in probably a week. We had them out for our guys and our people in the shop. We put it out at lunchtime, and you could just go eat whenever you wanted to eat them. But they're all amazing, to be honest with you. But I'm on the hot side of the stuff. So the mild stuff I left for the other guys.
See, I'm right in between. The medium is kind of my sweet spot, but wow, if you can take on those hot ones like Hot Mess and Wicked.
The Wicked one was good.
Yeah,
it
they're
hurt,
awesome.
but it was good.
It does hurt. I'll tell you, but more power to you. That's impressive if you can handle that. All right. So let's kind of go back to the beginning, because this whole thing originates from bowling. Jerry, I know you're a bowler. JP, are you a bowler as well?
I am a bowler, yes.
Okay. So give us kind of the Cliff's Notes version of, your bowling stories so we can kind of get a feel for, where you come from in the sport before we, take this magical ride down, the story of this idea turned into phenomenon in the interchangeable thumb market.
Okay, so when I was young, very young, it's all I wanted to do was bowl. I mean, my dream was to be a professional bowler. So I started bowling when I was a kid, and I can't remember ever missing a Saturday of bowling for the longest time. I turned 14 years old. I got a job in a bowling center, and I was the floor boy and beer pusher, and I started doing that. So I got to be able to bowl for free every day.
Was
So,
this all in Michigan near Detroit?
This is all in Michigan. It was actually right down the street from where I lived. I could walk there. And again, I worked there from the time I was 14 to the time I graduated high school. So I bowled in the leagues. I started in the men's league when I was 14 years old. I had to get a signature from my mom and dad in order to do so. But I started bowling at an early age, and I just fell in love with it. So that being said, I still wanted to be a pro bowler my whole life, and got pretty good at it. Pretty successful amateur career. Then, as I got older, I met my wife, and I decided I had a choice, either to be a bowler or be able to have a relationship with my girlfriend at the time. So I decided not to pursue the bowling thing. But again, I had a great amateur career. I literally bowled our first 2 years of marriage. I bowled in 6 leagues: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, twice on Friday, and every weekend in the Michigan Majors and the Ohio Touring circuit that they had out there. So I was literally bowling 29 days a week or a month, and I just loved the game, and that's how I got into, where I'm at right now, my passion for the game. And we'll talk about why I got into the thumb thing in a little bit. And then I started, as I got older, had kids, and my kids started bowling. And then, through high school, I coached them, or grade school, I coached them. And then through high school, I coached them. And then I actually got a coaching job at Lawrence Tech University. And then both my kids went to Lawrence Tech University, and I got to coach them there also. And then after that, my son started bowling in his leagues, and I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so obviously you can see where I started bowling from was this guy right here. I grew up going to watch him. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you when I started watching him, because it feels like since I was born, basically. But started getting into it about 12, 13, like competitively bowling for like my grade school, which I thought I was going to actually be somebody, because I was averaging 200 as a 7th and 8th grader. So I was like, I might actually be okay at this game. Yeah. But went to college for bowling, obviously. Bowled the Michigan Junior Masters Association, went to junior gold. And then I think and then now I'm doing just like adult leagues. But the passion really was, watching one of my idols growing up was my dad. So it was fun to stick around and then throw some games after, league was done. Yeah. So that's where really my passion came from.
Did either of you ever see, obviously we all have that dream, right? Being on ABC on a Saturday afternoon, bowling against, Pro Bowler X for the title. But did you ever see yourselves in a career in bowling, other than that, as you got older, as you got more experienced in the sport?
I'm gonna say no.
No, I've been a tool designer my whole life. My job was basically to design tooling and parts to be more efficient. And it's crazy because I worked for somebody else my whole life. And I always, I wasn't 100% happy with the other products were out there. And it's always in the back of my head to design something that was for my liking and what I wanted to see in an interchangeable. And it surprises me that it took me this long. I sat down one day after some frustration, and I literally designed this thing probably in like one day, the concept of it. And then like a couple of weeks later, I had it drawn because I'm a computer designer on top of it. So it was kind of an easy thing to do. But being in the bowling business, never, ever, I mean, I always wanted to be a proprietor too. I wanted to be in the business, but you know, after doing what I did for so long, I didn't think there was a pathway, because of the money that I made at my other job was just better than I think I could have done doing anything else. And then one day I just started doing this, and I thought it was going to be a hobby, and then and holy smokes, watch what you wish for, because this turned into something a lot bigger than I anticipated. I thought this was just going to be a little side job, make a little bit of side cash. And the next thing you know, we got the whole family doing it. So it's absolutely incredible, and we couldn't be more blessed.
Yeah. Now, you said you were frustrated with the other interchangeables out there. Were you frustrated with the fit? Were they breaking out of the thumbs? Was there some other problem that you saw?
Well, I've had a couple issues with the other brands out there. And that being said, I thought there was a better way, because again, that's what I did for a living. I thought it was an easier fix to make these products a little bit better. And again, I'm not complaining about my competitors or, you know, trying to do anything bad, because without them, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But yeah, there was some things that I didn't like about it. And what I did was I actually asked people all around, you know, the area, and hundreds of people said, what don't you like about this product? What don't you like about this product? And when you kind of get to the end game and everybody was kind of saying, well, I don't like this about that, or like this about that, or this product, that was the first thing I worked on when I designed it. So, you know, a lot of people don't like the wiggle at the top of your backswing, because at zero gravity, you can feel a little bit of movement. So I found a way to make that not happen. And then a couple of other things, like the tool that we use has got positive sides. So it works like a tool. So they're easy to get in and get out with a tool than it is to just like spin it out with a central, you know, stopper, I guess. And that was another thing. Failures are, it was a thing that people discussed. And I discussed, when I did this, I said, we'll design it like a screw. So the only way to get this out of a bowling ball is to actually spin it out. So you'd have to take your fingers out and spin it 360. So it's, if you make things like, you know, like the tools that are available in the world, and basically, you know, design off of that, you would make things a little bit more durable. And that's kind of how I got to the end of this thing. I wasn't 100% unhappy with what was out there. I just thought there was a better way.
Yeah. So interchangeable thumbs don't have an extensive history. We're not talking like finger grips that have been around, 4 decades. And it's not one of those things where you have a ton of other examples. You've got a few other examples. And that's the thing that strikes me about this whole thing is you're in the right time for this. You've got opportunity to come up with something that nobody else has, or at least nobody else has brought to market. Is there that element of kind of good fortune for the timing that you feel even now?
Well, yeah, I have to, you know, people tell me all the time, it says, man, you should have came up with this 20 years ago. I don't know if 20 years ago was still the time, because 20 years ago was the time when, you know, these were basically out. So, you know, I guess, you know, at the end of the day, 20 years ago, I would have been the third person in. And at the same time, was there a need for another one 20 years ago? Maybe not. I think as time went around, the only two choices you had, I thought there's a better way to do it. So that's the way I did it. So I think the timing was actually really good that we came in when we did. But at the same time, the timing that we're coming in, all these two-handers are coming in. So now we developed a thumb product, and we didn't have finger grips when we first started. So now I developed a thumb product. When you go to junior gold and you look at half the bowlers are two-handers, so half the bowlers aren't even using their thumb. So, but there's still enough one-handers out there that we are still able to, get enough product out there and, make a living for our family.
Sure. Yeah. What did your family say at first? Because I'm guessing there's a pretty significant investment to make this go anywhere right out of the gate, right?
So, I mean, let me tell you, when I first started this thing, I had a full-time job, and I was doing this. I was designing and taking everything I made from my job for prototype tooling, and spending every nickel that we had. We also used to live in a house. I had to sell my house, and we used to have 2 cars, and we got rid of 1 car. And still to this day, me and my wife share a lease vehicle. So we sold everything to finance the business, my house. And now right now we are in my apartment that we rent now. So we lived in a pretty modest house in Romeo, right down the street. And after we sold everything, we really put everything we had into this business, hoping that we could make it. And the good thing with the support of my wife, she was on board. So we literally financed ourselves to the hilt to get to this end game. And so that's where we're at today.
But you still live in the apartment. You still lease the 1 car.
Yeah.
Is there something symbolic about that?
I think if you can give up everything for your dreams, I think, yeah, I do. And the reason why we're still here is it's nice for one reason, is that I don't owe anybody any money. It's month to month basically. And do I plan on, moving into a house one day again? And for my wife, I think she deserves it more than anybody. I need to do that. But right now, and we are literally putting all our money back into the business, everything that we make, to try to automate. We are manually labor intensive. We spend a lot of hours doing things that could probably be done with machinery, and we're working on that right now. So I'm investing all the money back in the business to hopefully get our lives a little bit easier, so we can focus on other things and move on with our lives. But yeah, I don't mind my apartment right now because it reminds me every day what I've given up in order to get to where I'm at. And in the future, if it all works out, it'll reward itself.
Okay. So JP, your dad comes home one day, sits down at the dinner table and says, "Everyone, we're selling the house. We're selling 1 of the cars. I'm going all in on this thing." What's your response?
My dad, at the end of the day, is a perfectionist. When he comes up with an idea, a plan, it's usually pretty spot on, and he has succeeded from every plan, regardless of the time when he first does it. So I think that was proof enough to be like, Dad, do what you want to do. You wanted to be part of bowling. This is your end to get into bowling. You've talked about, being a proprietor, as he mentioned, and being around the pro guys and, talking to industry leaders like all the ball manufacturers and so on. And this was his end, and this was his dream. And you can't really say no to that. It's regardless of what it is, selling the house, selling a car. If you have a chance to chase a dream and then accomplish it, and especially, thank God for it, in the time that we have, has been absolutely surreal. There's no, again, I always go back to the no words thing, but I mean, it is crazily insane that how much traction we have gotten over the last several years off an idea that we thought, again, was only supposed to be a hobby.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship is kind of a funny thing, though, right? There's a lot of ups and downs. There's some ebb and flow. Not everybody gets to the point where you're at. Very few, I'm guessing, get to the point where you're at. But I'm guessing it wasn't a straight line. And there was probably some pain to get to that point. What do you think was the worst?
When I first designed this thing, I mean, it was very difficult to get two pieces to fit together like they do. We would design it up and then they wouldn't snap together. Then we designed it up and it was too tight and you couldn't snap it in. But I did design it to snap in harder than my competitors, because I wanted it to be there and it to be there. But I kind of lost my train of thought here.
I would say, like, talking to individuals where our competitors have been around, as you mentioned, for 30 plus years now, to say, hey, we got a new interchangeable grip, do you want to try it? Everyone's like, well, there's already two out there. Why would we want to try yours? So I think that face-to-face interaction was kind of a tough pill to swallow at first, because again, all these people were like, why do I need something else? Why do I need to learn something new? Why do I need to even pay attention to you for 30 seconds when I'm already doing something that's already been done forever? So I think that was a big hurdle. And even going to our distributor partners, I think that's the famous story that we have actually on our website, is the quote that when my dad introduced it to a local distributor, which was Delora Brothers. Again, they've sent bowling equipment and products all around the country, if not the world at this point, based on their customers. And the guy at the time said, Jerry, you have no chance. Why would you even come to me for this? Because again, our competitors have been out forever. You'll have no space in this industry. And my dad, and again, he obviously recalls the story more than I, but just to sum it up is, we wanted to at least show him in person, at least taste it, feel it, breathe it. And after we had a meeting, it was my dad, myself, and the head purchaser there, as well as the owner. And when they saw it, when they were able to lock it into play, they put our first big order in the next day. It was the very next day after seeing it. And without Delora Brothers, I'll just say their name, Mark Moore and Joe Joswick at Delora Brothers, they gave us a chance.
And Paul Delora. Paul Delora was the owner at the time. So yes, he's the one that got our foot in the door. But it's been amazing that they even gave us a chance, because they said there wasn't that much space, but in the thing. And I said, humor me. And this is where it kind of turned out to be. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I think those are biggest obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, the obstacles again are, and now that I get back to it, the obstacles, one of my biggest obstacles too is when we first designed this thing is going back and forth with the limited funds that we had, trying to get these things to fit. And if it didn't fit, we had to make a change. And then if it was too much, we had to make another change. And then one of the things that probably saved me more than anything, because we're on our third revision of this product, and we added reinforcement ribs to the tabs. And we had some failures at the beginning, less, I think, than most, but more than I wanted it to. And when COVID hit, when the bowling alleys and the bowling centers and the world shut down for a minute, it gave me the time to actually redesign this thing without all that product being on the shelf. So the biggest obstacle was a couple of design flaws, I guess, at the beginning, which I think we've overcome. And again, as much as COVID was a horrible thing for the world, and for some people too. And I was very sick at one time too. I think it actually saved the business.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to the whole, why would you even try to get into this? And bowlers telling you, why even do this? The thing that came to mind to me, and obviously I've heard this before, was, well, if it's the competitors saying this, of course they're going to say that. They don't want the competition. If it's the bowlers saying this, I would think it was because that bowlers, as you know, are kind of tribal about brands, right?
They sure are.
Whether it comes to balls or accessories or whatever. If you're brand X guy, all your stuff's brand X for no reason other than that's just what you do because you have it in your head that you're a brand X guy. And I like, what I've heard from you in the past, that we're out here not only to be your thumb guy, but we want to be your accessory guy. We want to be brand X for all these things, not just the thumb in your thumb hole.
Yeah,
Correct.
It's like, to me, it's like having a toolbox. If you're a mechanic and you go out into your toolbox, you're not going to have a toolbox full of Snap-on tools and Craftsman tools. You're not going to mix and match. You're gonna want that one brand that you want to have in your toolbox. And that's the reason why we decided to come up with finger grips and start doing accessories too, because instead of using just our thumb and possibly using my competitors' finger grips, we said, let's do it all together, because the brand loyal people are going to use our thumbs, that do use our thumbs, are going to use our finger grips. And those people are also going to use our tape, and they're going to buy the accessories and the backpacks and the stuff like that. So we started developing other products so it would be like a one-stop shop, and you wouldn't have this big toolbox of different brands all in your toolbox. So we started developing products to kind of mimic our competitors. So you could buy the same, you could have the same brand in your toolbox.
Yeah. Now, I don't mind telling you that I'm kind of the black swan in this whole thing. If you looked at my bowling bag, you'd see the mixing and matching. But why do you think people are like that in bowling? Why are we so loyal to one particular brand? If we're not on some agreement with a company, we have the opportunity to use them all, right?
I'll leave that up to you.
I think we do a good job of asking what the customer wants. I think that separates us from a lot of different competitors, even possibly bowling ball manufacturers. I'll even go up that far, where we ask what the customer wants, get feedback from that, design it, then send it to them to sample it. And if they don't like it, then we go back to the drawing board. It's typically how it works. Okay. So it's truly we're a customer, and it's like the bowlers company, like Storm, but we kind of use that same factor where we want to make sure that everyone gets what they want, not what we want them to use, if that makes sense.
And one more thing too is, we're not perfect by any means, but I definitely ask the bowlers what they're looking for and what they're looking for in any product. And when they give it to us, I'm not really interested in making something that's similar to our competitors. I want it to stand out. I want to make it better somehow. So that's what I try to do. And before we release anything, I try to make sure that, I get that feedback, that people tell me that, oh, I like this better for this reason or for that reason. So before we actually do it, that's the kind of feedback we get. And so that's why I think people are more willing to possibly change to our brand, because I believe, and it's not just me because it's my company, and I am biased. It's my company. I think we have the best interchangeable thumb out there, but I'm not the only one that says it. Our customers tell us that also. So with that being said, when I make the finger grips, I didn't want them to be basically the same thing as my competitor. So I try to design things to make it easier on the pro shop, installation process, the durability, the longevity. I try to make it a little bit better. So when you do have to make a choice, to me, it's an easier choice to do it because we feel like we, go over and beyond and listen to our customers to give them what they're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So I, kind of took the proactive step of asking one of your customers about that. Brooke Green has been on this show before.
Mm-hmm.
I asked her why she switched. She said she switched to them because she was constantly losing her thumbs. She said she was sick and tired of paying to get new ones. Ever since the switch, she said she's never lost a thumb. She said Andy Dirks is her pro shop guy and recommended them. And she's had several phone conversations with you. Said you really had the right mindset when it comes to customer service. She said she met you at Junior Gold in person, otherwise just talked to you on the phone. She says she will always hype you up, though. She's never been around such a family-friendly bowling company before. She says they're not all about the money. They're about creating good products. Wow, you got her sold.
Wow.
So how'd you do it?
Hi after that one.
It gives me goosebumps to even hear that.
Is she on the payroll yet?
And that's incredible. And
Thank you, Brooke.
that was insane to listen to
Mhm.
right there.
So I mean, obviously not to lose the thumbs is a great thing. But to have that opinion, okay, they're family friendly. They're going above and beyond. They're not about the money. They just want to create something great. I mean, that's a different kind of praise, right?
It is. So I've said this from the beginning, and anybody that knows me knows it. I mean, everybody likes to have money. Don't get me wrong. It does good for everybody, but money doesn't motivate me. If it did, I wouldn't still be living in an apartment and driving and splitting a vehicle with my wife. So it really doesn't motivate me. I think if you work hard enough and you do the right things, that'll come in the future. But yeah, the money part is, my biggest reward for doing what I do is thank you. When people tell me thank you for what you did. Thank you. It gives me goosebumps to even talk about, and I get a little bit of emotional because again, the money didn't motivate me. I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I wanted to change. I wanted to make something better for people. I wanted to make a product that changed the bowler's opinion and their experience in a bowling center, and go out there and throw a product that they believed in. There is nothing better than having something in your hand, whatever sport you're playing, that you 100% have confidence in. It's going to make you better, and you're going to perform better. And that's all I did it for, is to try to get these people to use a product that they can be confident and be the best that they could.
Yeah. You said there were a few kind of, for lack of a better term, generations of this product, because
Yes.
you had to make some refinements along the way. When did those refinements happen? And, why? What did those refinements solve? What problems did they solve?
So it was basically my inner. The outer was always kind of the same, that goes into the bowling ball. The inner had 3 generations of it. When I first designed this particular product, it had to be designed in a certain way to get in and out of a prototype tool. And the prototype tool was not an automatic tool. It was basically inserts. So they would put these inserts together, they put it into the mold, and they would squirt the plastic in there. In order to get the plastic out, they'd have to take it out and take the puzzle apart. Now that you have automation, the slides and stuff did that. But at the very beginning was a prototype tool. You had to do it in this puzzle piece way. So it had to be designed in, and again, it's just a prototype, but in a way that it could be disassembled. Imagine like putting water in a bottle and then freezing it and trying to get the water out. You can't do it. Same thing with the our inner. It had to be inserted into the tool, then the plastic injected in it. Then you had to take it out and disassemble the puzzle to get the part out. Since then, so that was our prototype tool. And I started selling our prototype pieces as our production pieces when we first started, because I didn't have the money or the resources to get to the next level. So that was the first one. And our first version of it had just round little tabs at the bottom, and how hard they snapped in after, a year or two, or, it was a pretty long time. I was pretty happy with the longevity of the product, but how hard they snapped in order to stay in, the tabs would fail after a while. So the next revision was, how do I make this stronger? So we made it a D tab on the same tool. So we did some machining on the pieces, and we made it a D tab, which wasn't a circle, which made it a little bit more strong, I guess, at the end of the day. And that absolutely helped immensely. But, we still had the issue of that hard snap in took a toll on the piece after you snapped it in a couple thousand times because of the fatigue. So then after that, I decided that in order for us to move forward, we needed to get an automatic injection molding tool in order to get this piece done. And at that time, it was the same kind of, with the D tab in there, we added the reinforcement into that connects to the tab and to the bottom of our inner. And the good thing it was, I had that in the back of my mind from the very beginning, because I didn't design myself into a corner there. I was able, if I needed to, was to add that extra strength and stability to that part in order for that not to happen. And that's what we did. So we've been in business for 7.5 years, basically. That revision probably happened in the year and a half, in the first year. So we've been running that third revision probably for 5.5 years now. So that was really all at the beginning. And that was the revision I was talking about when COVID happened, that allowed me to go ahead and revise that tool and give me that break in order to get that done without having all those parts in the field, which there were plenty of them out there. And I literally replaced every single one of those parts that broke, even though that we thought it was still a good product. I replaced all those parts at my cost with the new stuff. And I replaced all those parts that every distributor bought. If they had anything on a shelf, I took it all back and replaced it with the new stuff. So, yeah.
So it stands to reason that if any of those previous versions are out there anywhere, it's like needle in a haystack territory.
They are, but I do have people still using those first parts, believe it or not, with no issues. And I tell everybody that I see that, it says, I still got your first revision or your first, make of this thing, and I'm still using it. And I tell them all the time, I said, it's only a matter of time, but it's been 7 years. So I don't want to keep saying that, but I said, it's a matter of time. Let me replace that for you. So I'll replace that for them and say, here, just get rid of that one, because you just don't need to have any, issues in the field. But the good thing about our part, even though when it did fail, it literally stayed in the ball. Yeah. So we didn't have those issues where people weren't getting them back. They might not have snapped in, but they were still there. It just it's the revision to get us to where we are has been amazing. But there are still some parts that are out there. There are people that are still using, believe it or not. Wow. From the beginning. It's crazy to me.
So the third generation, tried and true, that most people are using now.
Yes.
How long do you expect, let's say, the inner to last? I mean, the outer kind of is a part of the ball, for lack of a better way to explain it, but the inner part, how long should that last?
All right, I'll say something real quick, because I promised my sister and my brother-in-law and his best friend Randy, as well as my two nephews, Santino and Giuseppe. So my sister Stephanie, my brother-in-law Joe, Randy Smith, his best friend since he was 8 years old. They all work for us. They deserve a lot of the credit, if not all the credit, for every day in the office. But getting back to your question,
They're in here somewhere. Are they in there somewhere?
So my brother-in-law Joe's in there, but Randy's on the far right.
Okay.
Obviously, my dad, my mom right there, my nephew Santino, the little blonde one, my nephew Giuseppe, the slightly darker one.
Cousin Zach and cousin Sean, right?
Yeah, and then my sister Stephanie. Yeah, our good friends Zach and Sean there, and then of course me.
Yeah.
But Randy, the one on the far right, going back to your question, has the third generation inner that he's been using since the change, and he has not switched it out because it is his favorite thumb.
So, I mean, to answer your question, you asked a question, how long do we expect these things to last?
We don't know.
We don't know. We haven't had enough history, and saying that, it's kind of crazy that we're almost into our 8th year. We haven't had enough history to really fill this out, but I do have some customers that use this for their strike ball and they switch it out to their spare ball every time. And one of the guys that I actually just talked to last week was in Florida. He's got the third revision, but a couple of years, 3 years ago, he did it, and he can feel it still snap in. It doesn't have that
video click that you heard.
The brand new snap that you like to have, but the guy still uses it because it's his favorite thumb, and he still feels it go over the hump where it feels like it's still secure. And I always tell people, if you don't like the click anymore, it's an easy fix. Get a new thumb, and if you get the new thumb and you put it into your bowling ball and it's not clicking in, it's the outer, because maybe it's your benchmark ball, it's your spare ball that you've been using forever. You got to replace that. If it's the other way around, you got to replace the inner. But we don't know. I have people using these things from the beginning, but I don't know of anybody that says that the click is totally went away on any of the product. That is, it's there. When it gets to get so mushy, because the way our product is designed, it rubs on itself every time it clicks in. So there's some friction. So sooner or later, it's going to disappear. And one of my sayings, I tell people, I says that, hey, my thumb is not clicking in like it used to. Well, I always tell them, I says, well, the Grand Canyon one time was a little stream back in the days. I said, sooner or later, erosion is going to take over and it is going to disappear. So at that time, long as it's not falling out, you're not hurting yourself, and you can get through the weekend to finish your tournament up. If you don't like how it's performing because of the wear and tear, brakes on a car got to be replaced. Get to your local pro shop, get a new one, and you'll be back to square one.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so obviously a good question to not be able to answer, but what is this thing made of?
They're made of the same thing as all my competitors. It's basically it's a blend of plastic. So it's just two pieces of plastic rubbing together. If you can figure out the formula and kind of get them to work with each other, the wear and tear is less than you would imagine. But it's still going to wear. But if you do the right things and you get the right people behind you and you make the correct formulation, they work with each other. So it's not like sandpaper on plastic. It's more like two pieces of plastic that are lubricated together to work with each other.
Okay. And then the question that I'm going to kind of take a deep breath before I even ask. At the bottom of this thing, along with JoPo Grips Twist, there is very prominently a patent number. And I don't even know if you can see it in the lens.
Yeah.
But have you heard of, or what's to stop a pudgy middle-aged guy in a little town in Wisconsin from buying a 3D printer and taking his thing and
well, that's a good question, because I guess in today's world, you could probably get away with a lot more things than you used to because it's easier to duplicate things with 3D printers. And I have to tell you, we've had a few people 3D print our product. And if we find out that it's first of all, it's illegal to do that because I have a patent on there. So you shouldn't do it. But that doesn't make everybody not do it. If you're going to use it for yourself, can you get away with it? Absolutely. If you're going to start selling it, that's a different story. But the problem with 3D printing at this time is that 3D printing does not have the integrity as injection molding products. They are more brittle. So, I wouldn't even, it's not that if people are using a 3D product and, and it breaks in the middle of their, their league night of bowling, and people think that's our product, and it isn't. That's the problem that I have, because 3D printing is not perfected enough to have that integrity that keeps that product strong. So those products can break a lot easier. So people that are doing that are not really setting a good example for our quality of our products. So people can do it, I guess, but it's definitely going to be a way inferior product than we make when you mold it.
I was hoping you would say I'm going to pop out from behind the ball return with the lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can sue anybody for anything.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think it's always a good idea to try to talk to these people and tell them why you shouldn't do it. And again, there's people that do it for themselves. I know of people that have done it for themselves. And if you keep it to yourselves, and you're doing it, it's that's your thing. But there's no way to keep track of all that stuff. Back in the day, I guess it was easier to track. But in today's world, there's so many ways to get around things. It can be done. But definitely 3D printing is way inferior product than the actual injection molding part of it. The quality is 3D printing is getting better, but it definitely does not have the quality of injection molding.
Sure. I'm going to piggyback off of one of the questions that you were asked on Amanda Moore's show, and that's about selling this thing. You said everything basically has a price. What's yours? What would it take to just say, here, have it, and we're going to go, the family's going to go live on some island somewhere with a bunch of cocktails with umbrellas in it, for the rest of our days?
So a couple of things on that. So, I mean, and I always say it, and everybody says it, I think, there's a price for everything. I mean, why would you turn down a crazy price that somebody's going to give you for something that you developed? I mean, there's always a price.
But it has to be crazy, though.
But the thing is, nobody thinks this product is worth what I think this product is
Correct.
worth. This product means the world to me, first of all, and I always want to be involved. I am so happy that I'm involved in something that I think has changed the industry at the end of the day. I love what I do. And more important, again, the crazy number is there is. I love what I do. Nobody's going to pay me what I think it's worth, unless somebody really wants to. Then we could have a discussion. But I would still always have to be involved somehow as a consultant, because I still have ideas and I still want to grow things, and I still have products that I want to develop, and I got innovations that, I mean, it's all I think about is this crazy company that we have. But that's not even the thing that motivates me the most, is that, again, the money doesn't motivate me. Making people happy and giving them a product they can believe in does. But I don't think people understand, and it's crazy, but I get up every single morning. Me and my wife get up and get a cup of coffee. We go to work. I get to see my son every day. I get to see my daughter every day. I get to see my son-in-law every day. I get to see one of my best friends every day, my 2 grandkids every day. They have a dog, which I could give or take of seeing him every day, but the dog does come in every single day. And we do have a coworker that works with us, Landon. that is going to school, but he's working for us part-time. But I don't know how anybody could be blessed spending their whole week with their family. And I get to see my grandkids every single day. I don't know grandparents that get to see their grandkids every single day, and I do. So that being said, I wouldn't change that part in the world. And it's so funny too, because when you hang around somebody so long, they're probably going to drive you nuts, and you're not maybe going to like them as much as you think you will. But our family is incredibly, I don't know, strong or blessed or whatever you want to say. But we hang out with each other all day long, and we still like each other, which is amazing.
JP, are you as strong and as blessed as he says you are?
I would say I am. I've worked numerous jobs over the past several years, and I actually work more now than I have ever worked, and I love it that much more. That's how crazy. I worked for Rocket Mortgage for 4 years. That was 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, and I feel like double that in and out of the office. For situations like these, I wouldn't consider this work. This is definitely more fun than work, but it's for work technically. But it's crazy how his passion kind of overflowed to all of us. My mom, Randy, his best friend, my sister, my brother-in-law, Landon, even. It's something that we want to stick it out to the end for how much we truly, love what we do.
Yeah.
I get to talk to, again, like people like Sean Rash, DJ Tackett, Zach Tackett, Justin Knowles, Dan Knowlton, all these guys that I remember growing up watching on TV and asking for autographs. And it's like, I keep going back to the nil words thing, but it's true. It's so irreplaceable. It's hard to, again, like you said, is there a number? I don't think there is one, because at the end of the day, we enjoy what we do every single day.
And, one thing I have to add is that, when you do something like we do as a family, and we all get along, and we laugh, and we watch TV, we watch bowling on TV all day, and the kids are, driving their cars and hitting baseballs and in the shop. And it's kind of crazy. But what I love more than anything is that after this is all said and done, hopefully I have, developed something for my family to, have a lifetime of working and doing something they love to do instead of going to work for somebody else. Cause it's tough at the end of the day, but when you love what you do, it's fun. And we still work hard, don't get us wrong, but it's different than working for somebody else. So I'm glad I'm able to maybe do something for my kids to give them a bigger head start than I had when I was growing up.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to look at it. So you've alluded to it a little bit, but tell us what's next. I mean, you talked about fingers a little bit. You talked about accessories. Where do you go from here?
Well, we have a few different things.
We got a couple things going on. I developed actually interchangeable finger grips from the beginning, right from the beginning, because I thought it would be a thing more for demo days. And I was hoping to get, all our stuff into the bowling ball manufacturer's hands so people could put the interchangeable thumb and the interchangeable finger grips in a ball. And the reason why I wanted to do that is that when you go to these matchmakers or demo days, and you give somebody the product, they're able to click it in and click it out and feel what it feels like. So as the bowling ball manufacturers are selling equipment, I thought it would be a good idea to try to get our stuff into their hands so people could touch and feel our product and see the difference. And so we hoped interchangeable finger grips would be a thing. So both my competitors make them. But I really believe we can market this for two-handers because vacuum grips are a big thing for people's hands that swell up a little bit. I think if you had a couple different sizes of finger grips, you wouldn't need vacuum grips. You just be able to, if you swelled up a little bit, you just take the next half size up and click that in. Same as our thumb, and vice versa. So that's one of the products I've had developed for a long time, and I'm getting ready to pull the trigger on having that mold made. But I got so many things going on right now. We just finished our 7/8 grips. We only had 31 32nd OD grips. Now we got the MIS grips. The tool is in the shop. It's getting fitted for us to start making some grips right now for the smaller size. And then my next, we got some other products coming out. We just developed slugs, solid slugs that are tapered that make the pro shop operators' lives easier on putting these things in, because you don't have to squish them in so hard, and they're just easier for a pro shop operator to put them in. We got different SKUs. We're coming up with clear, and I'm also getting ready to probably, because we got a couple of new things happening, and you'll hear about it before January 1st. But we are going to start the 1 1/32 finger grips for the bigger people that can't get their fingers into our 31 32nd grip. And once I believe we get all the products available, the people that were on the fence that says, well, I'm not going to start carrying their product until they have it all, this will kind of cover all the bases. So
clear finger grips, clear inners and outers, which no one's done before. A lot of people, we had some teaser videos and pictures of them, but then the grip racks are coming soon, potentially, for like pro shops to have, again, like our competitors, to have them available and ready just to slip in and out.
I have a lot. We have a lot of things going on, and again, I'm the designer basically of all these things. But I am also the guy that's in the back, cutting pieces and drilling holes and bagging product and gluing and epoxying. So like I'm doing everything at the same time. If I had one more of me, I think I could do it, but I'm pretty much a micromanager, I guess, at the end of the day, which isn't really good for a 5-person team that we have. But we got a lot of good things that are happening in the very near future. And the reason why we do this is because our customers, again, ask, can you do this? Can you do that? And we all sit down and we think about, would this be a good addition to, the product line? And we talk about it. And if we think it's going to be a good thing, we just do it. And stay tuned. Things are happening in a very, very big hurry. And I think we're going to have a lot of this stuff announced by January 1st. But more tooling, more automation to try to get to the same level as our competitors to have everything in all things.
Okay. Wow. Well, exciting stuff.
Yes,
We'll be looking forward to seeing what you got planned. But let us know.
We sure will. We'll make announcements.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's get on to this next part, since we've already kind of carried you over time a little bit.
That's all right.
Take a look at this.
Let's go off the sheet. Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The Better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
I'm still saying your wife is the hero of this story. 29 days out of the month you're bowling. Oh my God.
She's an angel. She's a saint. Believe me.
I'd be on my own like that. And that
She's
was
listening to you from the sidelines right now.
She stuck with me for through the good times, the bad times, and all the times. And when I say that we're blessed, and I totally mean it. My wife has put up with me for this long. We met in 1988, and we're still together. And it's absolutely crazy that she's put up with me through all of this, the bowling, the business, and the good times, the bad times, the tough times. But she's She's the rock of this family, 100%. And without her, we wouldn't be there or where we're at today.
Well, I wouldn't be here. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
and also, and I mean, she's our babysitter during the day with my grandkids while we're trying to get some stuff done. She's chasing those kids around.
You have totally outkicked your coverage.
I did.
100%. All right. So off the sheet, you kind of heard the parameters. Tell me, who would you guys like to challenge to be on a future episode of Bowling with the Fab?
You know what? One of my guys that gave me the first chance that was on the national tour. He's a two-hander, but he was the first guy that reached out to me and was looking to try our product out. And he's on our staff today. Justin Knowles was my first guy. And it's so funny that being in the thumb business, and that's how we started. And we got into the finger business. And as soon as I got my grips done, he asked if he could try them out. But Justin Knowles is my guy.
Okay. All right. Michigan guy. And
Michigan guy.
Seen him on tour. He's been on some shows and
won everything you can think of
in
locally.
Michigan for sure. Yeah, he's about ready to bust out.
Yeah, I would say. But my guy, and you said that he was on the podcast previously, but I'm gonna go with my buddy Sean Rash. I think I talked to him more than I talked to my best friend. So as crazy as that is, that's a dream come true in itself. But I think Sean has a lot to talk about over the past year, especially his win in the Lucky Larson Masters, where fortunately I was able to participate in and see. And he might give you more detail in that whole story, but I told him he was going to win from the first game of match or qualifying.
He did shoot 280 that first game.
270. 270 game one on the fresh. I'm like, Sean, you're gonna win this tournament. If this is the look on the fresh that you get, there's no one stopping you.
Yeah, Sean would be a good guy for a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, he's one of our staffers, which makes it easier for us, though. But his love for the game and his love to grow this game is bigger than most people that I know of. So he's always got some good input for the sport of bowling. So he'd be one of my choices also.
Yeah. Just a fantastic competitor. Had the pleasure to obviously had him on the show and met him in person a couple times. And of course he knows his salsa. So
yes,
Sean, Justin, if you are interested in taking the JoPo guys up on their challenge, please reach out. bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com, or you can find me on all the social places. Guys, where can we find you? I mean, obviously you're in all the pro shops. You know, if there's a pro shop you're not in, hopefully you'll be in like yesterday, but where else can we find you? If we want to find you online, if we want to connect with you, where do we go?
Yep. So we're on, I believe, all social media. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, all either at JoPo Grips or at JoPo_grips.
And also on our website, JoPoGrips.com, we have a pro shop locator. So if you're looking for our product in your area, you type in a zip code, you can probably find a pro shop that carries it close to you. All the pro shops do not carry us at this time. We are growing each and every day because I think customers are asking for us a little bit more. So the pro shops that do not have our product in there, they're starting to jump on board a little bit, but you can find our products on that pro shop locator on our website. If you're looking to get the product installed, and try to find a closest location near your zip code.
Okay. Yeah.
And then again, shout out to all the pro shops that obviously currently carry us, as well as the people that we don't know. So if you are a pro shop operator that has our starter kit, has our drill bit and products, let us know. If we don't have you on our website for our pro shop locator, please send us an email.
We'll put you on. And one more thing too is our distributors. All our distributors, when we first started it out, it took me 3 years to get into my second distributor. But all the distributors in the United States and most of them worldwide are now carrying our products. So if your pro shop does not have your product or you cannot get it, you can reach out to your distributors and probably find a location that does also.
Yeah, for sure. Or they just reach out to you, right? info@jopogrips.com.
Yes, sir. Yep. I'm more than willing to answer everybody's and all questions.
Your phone number is on the website. I'm assuming you take calls between what, 2 a.m. Eastern and 6 a.m. Eastern?
We've answered. We try our best to stay away past a certain time, but we do. On social media, I usually answer them every time right away. So
and me too. I usually, once I get to know you, I'll give you my personal number, so I'm more apt to answer my call on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock at night if you have a question, if I know who's calling, than the other people. But that's what we do. Most of my customers that I have dealt with have my personal number, believe it or not. So if you want to get a hold of me, we usually can take care of our customers 7 days a week.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, next week, guys, we have another bowler on. Of course, we're heading west to the Twin Cities of Minnesota, where this gentleman actually reached out to me, not unlike you guys. It was kind of a little give and take, but he reached out to me. This is Jace Godell, who is from St. Francis, Minnesota. Now, he reached out. He's a former standout from Wartburg University, now making waves on the amateur scene. On the plus side, he wrote to me asking to come on the show and called me a legend, but he also posted a meme suggesting that Coach Matt LaFleur was playing a video game on his tablet during the Eagles-Packers game last month. So we're going to sort all that out a week from tonight, 7 p.m. Central, live right here on the channel. I'm telling you, he was not playing a video game. We're not playing any games around here, folks.
No.
Are you guys Lions people?
We are Lions people. My dad's indifferent. My dad says he's not.
I'm not jumping on board until they win a Super Bowl. They've been disappointing me for too long.
Yeah, well, they've been close.
Yeah, we're still praying.
Need to bite a few more kneecaps for that.
Yeah, there's still hope. That's what we believe. So you got to believe.
That's right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time and continued success to you guys and the rest of the JoPo fam.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Feth. We'll definitely stay in touch. And again, if you have any other questions, again, land, air, or sea, we'll be able to answer those for you too.
Absolutely. And you'll get Brooke her staff contract, right?
That was the most incredible thing I've heard ever. So
Thank you,
awesome.
Brooke. Thank you so much.
Again.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you again next time.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lane. So Eau Claire, Wisconsin area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988. And Visionary Video Hub. Video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.